Welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2015, live from the WEDU studios at the Berkman Family Broadcast Center. Hello and welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2015 here on WEDU. My name is Rob Lorei and I'm going to be your host for the next hour for our day-long event. Give Day Tampa Bay is a 24-hour charitable giving event that supports more than 549 local nonprofits. This effort is led by the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay and the Florida Next Foundation to make it easy for individuals to invest in our community. I'm here because I really do believe in connecting with our community, and I think that charity does work. I think it's one way for us to take part and make our community better. Well, we wanted to support the nonprofits who take care of the people in our community. Making a donation is easy. You can go on the website, givedaytampabay.org, and you can search for your favorite charity or choose from our list. And you can scroll through the nonprofits by category. When you hit the donate button, you fill in your credit card information and make your secure gift in a matter of minutes. The minimum donation is just $25. Well, throughout this day, we've been going to our leaderboard, which will have the total amount of funds donated to each nonprofit. And our goal is to reach $1 million or more in 24 hours. And the good news is we've already done it. I'll be joined by a number of experts from the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay, Florida Next, and WEDU who can tell us about some of the other Give Day events going on here in the Bay Area. Let's go to our first guest this segment from the Nece Foundation located in Tampa. I want to introduce Alison Hedrick and Kasdan Fuchs. Alison, Kasdan, welcome to WEDU. Great to see you.
You too.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You know, I think a lot of people might remember Nece for his participation in the Bucs, the Super Bowl champion Bucs. He was in the NFL for 7 years. Tell us about the foundation that's named after him. What was the idea behind it?
So we started the foundation in 2006, and it really was just Ryan's way to give back. He'd been in Tampa for several years at that point, playing for the Buccaneers, and had been introduced to a number of organizations in the community and had gotten familiar with kind of the needs and the people who live here in Tampa Bay, and decided that he wanted to have his own initiative, his own organization that could support the community. So we started the Nece Foundation, and we're still going strong today.
And what kind of activities does the foundation engage in?
Our flagship program is called the Student Service Program, so I'll let Kasdan tell you about that. She's a member of that program.
So the Student Service Program basically just promotes leadership and service amongst high school students, and we attend monthly meetings and do monthly projects, and we'll be able to utilize the curriculum that we've learned when we visit the Dominican Republic in June.
And what are you going to do in the Dominican Republic?
To build houses and just try to inspire the community.
That's incredible. Kasdan, what high school do you go to?
I go to Leonard High School.
How'd you get involved? How'd you find out about the foundation?
I heard it across my school, and I just really wanted to be a part of a foundation that just inspired me to be a better person.
So you're going to go down to the Dominican Republic and build houses?
Yes.
Is that a typical activity of the Nece Foundation?
It is. So our student service program, we have 12 high school students that enter the program every year. And throughout their first year in the program, it's monthly meetings, a curriculum on leadership and service and things like that. They do monthly service projects. So they've volunteered a ton here in Tampa Bay at Trinity Cafe, The Spring, all kinds of different organizations. And then at the end of that first year, they're getting ready to go to the Dominican on their service trip, and we'll be there about 5 days doing service projects. We'll visit the Cigar Family School that they have down there. And so next year, Kasdan and the other students who are in the program now will be seniors in high school next year. They'll serve as peer mentors to the next group of students that are entering the program. So next year, they'll really get to utilize the skills that they've learned this year about leadership and service and leading others when they help the new group of students who come in next year.
Hey, Kasdan, how has this changed you? Did you ever think that you'd be doing this kind of thing 2 or 3 years ago?
I didn't, but it's made me handle situations differently. Every day when I go through something hard, I think be proactive and think win-win about every situation and try to just involve everyone in your decisions. So.
Well, that's really got to be a great experience. Is the foundation primarily aimed towards high school students?
It is. It is. So the mission of the foundation is to be a beacon to teens, to encourage them to impact giving in the community. So the whole goal of the foundation is to really embrace young people, Kasdan's age, high school students, at that critical time in their life when they're really kind of inundated with messages these days about how to be selfish, essentially. You know, everything's about selfies and social media and, you know, what you want for yourself. We're really trying to teach them a different perspective, a different way to look at the world and the situations that they're in on a daily basis, like Kasdan just said, to kind of frame their perspective on the world in a different way so they think about giving to others and helping others instead of just self all the time.
Kasdan, do you think this has opened the eyes of your fellow students to see the bigger way the world works?
I do, because I know that once someone starts sending a message out to other people and starts acting a different way, everyone follows in their footsteps, and it just makes for like a really positive experience.
How many high school students has the foundation served over the years, Alison?
Well, this is the second year for the student service program. So we have the 12 students who went through the program last year, and now the 12 who are this year. We're currently accepting applications for our next group of students. We're accepting those applications through May 15th. So current sophomores in high school can go to RyanNeceFoundation.com to find the application. We'll accept 12 more students for this coming year. But we have other programs throughout the year as well. Our Mind and Body Clinic for youth that will be taking place in August or September of this year. And we do a huge event in Thanksgiving, at Thanksgiving every year, where we have about 175 volunteers who feed about 1,000 people in one night. So we have a lot of things that go on throughout the year and try to get a lot of people involved in volunteering.
And last question, what do you think it was about Ryan's experience that made him kind of start the foundation and do this and try to instill these leadership skills in high school students?
Well, to hear Ryan tell his story and kind of talk about the upbringing he had growing up from his mother and father, he was encouraged from the time he was really young to always think about others and, to always realize how he could impact someone else's life in a positive way. And that's really just stayed with him and affected him from the time he was young. And that's really how he lives his life out on a daily basis is, he wakes up kind of thinking, what can I do for somebody else today? Which is exactly the message that we want to give to the high school students in our program, is where they really, kind of take that mindset of what can I do to positively impact somebody else. And like Kasdan said, then you just create a ripple. And from there, it's kind of like dominoes. Positivity affects the next person.
Well, this is fantastic, and thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you.
And people can find out more at RyanNece.org or
RyanNeceFoundation.com.
All right, .com. All right. Well, Kasdan and Alison, thank you very much. Great to meet you.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Well, next we're going to go to our leaderboard and check in and see what kind of totals are coming into Give Day Tampa Bay. Welcome back to Give Day Tampa Bay. There are a number of Give Day incentives and prizes to encourage you to donate. Our HCI Happy Hour prize of $50,000 will be awarded to the nonprofit organization that receives the most donations between now and 7 o'clock tonight. The gift is donated through the generosity of Homeowners Choice Insurance, and thank you to those good folks. Go to givedaytampabay.org, and let's see who can win this hour, so to speak. Well, our next guest is Finn Cavanaugh from SelfReliance Incorporated. And Finn, nice to see you. Thank you for coming by.
Great to be here, Rob. Thank you.
SelfReliance, if I'm right, is an agency that helps people who are quadriplegic and paraplegic. Is that right?
Yeah, SelfReliance is somewhat unique in that we work with people with any kind of disability here in Hillsborough County. And most people don't realize this, but there's about 150,000 of those people with disabilities here in Hillsborough County. And SelfReliance works with them to help them retain their independence, their autonomy in life, and their ability to make choices without having other people interfere with those choices.
How important is it for them to maintain self-reliance and independence?
Yeah, one of the things we often take for granted every day is the ability to get up and choose a direction in our life. And one of the things we take for granted is that we don't all have that. Organizations like SelfReliance can help people retain that so that they don't lose that freedom to make choices in their life. And we do that by helping people with supportive services, but not taking over their life and assisting them really to live.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of services do you offer at SelfReliance?
Sure. At SelfReliance, we provide a variety of independent living skills training, particularly for people who are newly disabled. You know, it's a new way of life. There are many, many tricks that people learn and skills that people learn. And we believe in a peer teaching model so that people who are disabled can learn from other people who have that experience. We also provide a lot of durable medical equipment services for people who can't afford that, or maybe their insurance doesn't cover that. As we all know, there's a lot of change in healthcare today. We provide also a lot of advocacy for people who are living in homes that aren't accessible, apartments and things like that. We'll work with landlords to try and remedy those problems. And we also do a lot of information and referral. A lot of people call us in situations where they're trying to get services where we may have just a connection to another organization that can help them.
Now, are most of the people that are clients, were they injured as a result of an accident, or are they veterans? Who are the people that are part of SelfReliance?
Yeah, although we serve people with any kind of disability, the vast majority of the people we serve have a physical disability of some type. And most of those have some sort of mobility issue, whether that's paraplegia or quadriplegia or a palsy of some kind, or something that prevents them from being able to get around. These people have acquired those disabilities in some cases, but in most cases they've been disabled for most of their lives. We have one gentleman, for instance, who works with us as a volunteer mentor, who suffered his disability many years ago when he was a gunshot victim in New York City. And today he's learned the ropes of independence, and he helps give that back to other people.
Is part of your mission to create community for people with disabilities so they can talk to each other and figure things out for themselves?
Absolutely. One of the most enjoyable parts of our mission is bringing people together who are at great risk of social isolation. So one of the things we do, we have peer support groups. We call it our grassroots group, where we bring people together, sometimes for education, sometimes for training, and sometimes just for a lot of fun. And it's one of the most rewarding parts of what we get to do.
I imagine there's a great relief when you find that there are other people who are just like you, experiencing the same kind of issues and problems, and just kind of hearing from somebody else who's gone through it, who's been there and gone through it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's having a disability is one of those things that most people will not regard you with great credibility unless you've had that experience yourself. And so that brings us to a big part of what we believe, which is that peer mentoring, and that people have to have had that experience in order to provide that type of learning.
Yeah, it sounds very empowering. So what's the history of SelfReliance? Why was it started? Who started it?
Yeah, SelfReliance has been in Hillsborough County since 1978. Its history reaches beyond that, actually, to the 1973 Rehab Act, in which people with disabilities really tried to acquire the rights to maintain their ability to gain employment, education, work training, and things of that nature. This movement borrowed a lot from the civil rights movement, in which people were demonstrating and advocating for their rights. And so centers for independent living across the nation came out of that act, and the Center for Independent Living in Hillsborough County is SelfReliance, Inc.
Well, Finn, thank you so much for coming by. I've been to SelfReliance, and I can't say how exciting it is to watch people be independent at SelfReliance.
Thank you very much, Rob. We appreciate it.
All right, Finn, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, while our next guests are being seated, let's go to the leaderboard once again and get an update total on your donations today. Finn. Well, there are a number of Give Day incentives and prizes to encourage you to donate. Our HCI Happy Hour prize of $5,000 will be awarded to the nonprofit organization that receives the most donations between now and 7 o'clock this evening. The gift is donated through the generosity of Homeowners Choice Insurance. Please go to givedaytampabay.org and choose the charity of your choice. Well, one of my favorite places in all of Tampa Bay is the Tampa Theatre. And with us right now are Jill Witecki, who is the Director of Marketing at the Tampa Theatre, and also here's Ann Pittman, who is a member of the Board of Directors at the Tampa Theatre. Great to see you. Thank you for keeping that great old theater alive. Thank you.
It is our pleasure.
Talk about, Jill, let's talk about some of the things that go on at the Tampa Theatre in downtown Tampa.
Well, we like to boast that we host 600 events a year. So most of that is film, which is what we've been doing since 1926 on Franklin Street. But these days we've also got concerts, we do rental events, and what we're here to talk about with Give Day is our film camp, our summer film camp program for kids.
And what goes on at the film camp?
We have kids from ages 3rd grade through 12th that over the course of a week literally learn how to make a movie. So they come in on Monday morning and they learn scripting and storyboarding, they act in it, they light it, they do all their own costumes and makeup, all of the editing, and by Friday they have a film that they can show their family and friends.
That's incredible. And I know one of the things, too, that's going on at the Tampa Theatre is that you're trying to restore the theater right now. And could you describe, for folks who haven't been to downtown Tampa to see this beautiful facility, what does it look like?
It's beautiful. The architecture is sort of a hodgepodge of John Eberson, the architect back in 1926. His job was to enthrall people from the moment they walked in the door. He wanted them to be overwhelmed with the grandiosity of the building. So it feels like a Mediterranean courtyard. Lots of balustrading and birds hanging from the ceiling, a starry sky when you sit down in the auditorium and look up and you see this nighttime sky. It's an atmospheric theater. It's absolutely overwhelming. So I would really encourage anyone who hasn't been to the Tampa Theatre to make a trip over. We've got tours, obviously lots of movies and events that they can come to.
You know,
give us a call.
It's almost as if you're going to one of the great theaters in New York or Boston or Chicago from the 1920s. It really is that special.
It's better.
It's better. So, Jill, can anybody join up for the summer film camp, and how can people do that if if people are watching at home, they've got kids and they want to send their kids to the summer film camp, how can they do that?
Registration is open right now. We actually start the program in June. So if you visit tampatheatre.org and look under our Learn link, you'll see all of the information for registration. And what's really neat about it is not only what these kids learn, but the partnership that it is for Tampa Theatre. We work with the Florida Center for Instructional Technology at USF. So they provide the instructors, they provide all of the iPads, all of the cameras and the lighting equipment. So they are the educators with the expertise in this kind of technology that can come in, share their love of technology, combine it with our love of films and filmmaking, and really turn it into a program that's incredible for these kids.
And getting back to restoring the theater, you're in the middle of a project, if I understand correctly, to try to get some money for restoring the theater. Is that right?
Well, the theater has needs, that's for sure. It's an 88-year-old building. We're not getting any younger. But she's a grand old dame, and we do need to do some work. So we're looking at what that project might look like.
Mm-hmm. And one of the great things about the theater is the organ concerts before the films.
Yeah.
Just for a moment, describe what goes on before every film at the Tampa Theatre, Jill.
We are very fortunate to still have our original 1926 Mighty Wurlitzer theater organ. Now, it was removed for a while, but fortunately back in the 70s when the building was saved by the city, the organ was also restored and brought back. And so we have a core of about 12 volunteer organists that before each and every film that we play do a 15 or 20-minute concert. So keep in mind, when we opened in 1926, movies were still silent. So we opened as a silent movie palace, and that organ was an instrumental part, no pun intended, of what the movie experience was all about. So the fact that we can still provide that feeling, it's like stepping back in time and remembering exactly what it would have been like that opening year.
For my grandmother, maybe.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for keeping this important part of our heritage alive. It really is one of the most special places in all of Tampa Bay, and thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. Okay, let's go back to our leaderboard. We're going to find out how the totals are doing. Remember, last year we raised more than $1 million. Can we get close to $1.2 million? Here's the leaderboard. Welcome back. I'm Rob Lorei, live at the WEDU studios in Tampa for Give Day Tampa Bay. For our friends on the WEDU HD channel, this is a live broadcast. I want to welcome our two guests right now. Sherry Silk is with the Humane Society, the Executive Director of the Humane Society of Tampa Bay, and also Ornella Varchi is a Special Events Coordinator for the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. Welcome to both of you. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Who Who are your friends?
So I guess
and I
we
should say Iris is here too, so who are your friends?
We drafted her because our arms were not big enough to hold all these puppies. So this is Elma, and I'm going to see how beautiful she is. She's a purebred pug, and they're very popular dogs, believe it or not. She was a stray, and she does show you a pretty face. There you go. She's beautiful, I think. She's just about 2 years old. And she was a stray with no identification or no microchip.
She's currently available
She's
for adoption.
currently available for adoption. And then Ornella, what about your guy?
This is Jonesy. He's 10-month old, and he's a min pin mix. Full of energy. He was also found as a stray, and now he's looking for his energetic home. Yes. So. And this is Amelia, and she's a Siberian Husky, and she's 2 months old.
And how much bigger will the three of these dogs get?
It won't grow, because this dog is already a tubbo, a little bit overweight, a little bit porky. Will not grow anymore, but the Husky is going to be about 60 to 65 pounds.
And these are all available right now?
All available. You know, we have so many great animals at the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. On any given day, we've got a couple of hundred dogs, cats, puppies, kittens, or rabbits that are looking for a home.
Well, and Ornella, I want to ask you about special events. What kind of special events does the Humane Society do?
We have so many different events, ranging from small ones, but our big ones are such a huge help for our fundraising and also to raise awareness of all the great things that we do. We just had our Bark in the Park, which is our big fundraiser in March. We are planning for our Tuxes and Tails event, which is a beautiful black tie event that we do at the Tampa Convention Center, October 17th. And we have our fun Woofstock Festival, which is in December 10th at Waterworks Park.
Sherry, how big of a need do we have here in the Tampa Bay area to rescue these animals, to put them up for adoption? How big is that need?
It is huge. We've been around for 103 years, so we're a very old charity. And I will tell you, every year it seems like, even though the economy is better for some folks, it's still not so good for people with pets. So not only do we have our shelter, we have a full-service animal hospital for affordable care, so people, when they love their pets and they get sick or injured, they can take them and keep them at affordable rates rather than having to turn them into a shelter. We have free food assistance. People still sometimes struggle, especially senior citizens, at the end of the month, so they can come and get a bag of dog food or cat food. So we have a lot of programs in place trying to keep these beloved animals with their people.
And you know, I'm sure people are scratching their heads looking at these three beautiful animals and saying, why were they put up for adoption? Why were they stray on the street? What happens to these animals? You
know what? It's a lot of different reasons. Families break up. People aren't educated about how to keep their pets properly, don't know where to always look to come to try to find their pets. And a lot of times it is just the economy. And frankly, sometimes people get a puppy and they don't realize it should be a lifetime commitment. These animals, I mean, this girl here should live 15, 16, 17 years of age. She's kissing me too. She's so sweet. She would be a great dog for somebody. So they come to us in all different ways, but we are a no-kill for space shelter, which means we very, very rarely do euthanasia. So a lot of people come to our shelter when they are having tough times and need help for their animals, trying to find them a home.
And do you offer training to people who have maybe adopting a pet for the first time? Do you give them help?
Absolutely, yes.
And what kind of help do you give?
We do all kinds of dog training, the basics, and then the more advanced dog training, because that is part of it. Because if you get a puppy and don't train it properly, then it ends up being a problem later, and then you may return the dog. So we give all kinds of information as well as actual dog training.
Well, Sherry and Ornella, thank you very much for coming by WEDU, and good luck today on Give Day Tampa Bay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Those dogs are so beautiful.
They sure are.
Okay. Well, in just a moment, we're going to check in with the scoreboard, and I think what we're going to do before we do that is we're going to go down to Channelside in downtown Tampa. Well, I'm Rob Lorei, live at the WEDU studios in Tampa for Give Day Tampa Bay. For our friends on the WEDU HD channel, this is a 24-hour-long event that supports more than 550 local nonprofit agencies. Making a donation is quick and easy. Just log on to givedaytampabay.org and search for your favorite charity from the list of participants. When you hit the donate button, you'll fill in your credit card information and make your secure gift. The minimum donation is only $25. Give Day Tampa Bay will be going on until midnight tonight. We'll be live here on the WEDU Plus channel 3.4, or you can watch us live streaming online at givedaytampabay.org. This effort is being led by the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay and the Florida Next Foundation, so go online to givedaytampabay.org and support our local nonprofits. All right, so let's go to the leaderboard right now. Well, that is an impressive total on the screen. Joined now by Alison Hedrick, who is the Vice President of Communications here at WEDU. And Alison, welcome. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
So tell us about what WEDU's role in this has been today. What have we been doing?
Well, we've really been helping raise awareness for the nonprofits that are part of Give Day Tampa Bay. It's something that is very near and dear to WEDU's heart, is serving the nonprofits in our area and helping raise awareness. Today we're helping raise funds, and we're seeing a lot of faces come through here, and it's really great stories being told.
Well, we've had so many nonprofits come through today. We've been on since what time this afternoon?
11 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
We've been on. So, lots of nonprofits, and like I said, just hearing a lot about their missions and what they're doing in the community and what they're going to use the funds for.
And the good news is that because of the community effort, the total now is more than it was last year at midnight, right?
Yes, and what wonderful news that is. And the great thing about all of the donations that have been made today, they're staying here locally in our community. So they're going to be serving our family, our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers, and that's really important.
And there's no overhead. The money goes directly to the nonprofits.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
And in terms of WEDU's commitment, we're not taking any money for this. We're just offering airtime.
Absolutely. Again, it's part of our mission to help raise awareness and educate, and we've always been a partner and a friend to the nonprofits in the area, and so it's really a pleasure and our duty to do this today.
And it really enriches our community to have a vibrant nonprofit community too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, our nonprofits they're saving lives, they're saving animals, as you just saw. They're helping our wounded, our veterans. They're teaching our children. So it's just amazing missions and doing amazing work in our community.
Okay. Well, Alison, stick around. We're going to go to our next guest right now, and you're watching live coverage of Give Day Tampa Bay on WEDU television. Our next guest is Luisa Manuel, who's the president and CEO of the Tampa Bay YWCA. Well, Nece, great to see you again. Thank you for coming by WEDU.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Rob. It's twice in one day for us, right?
That's right. We did radio earlier. So, Nece, tell us what the mission of the YWCA is.
Well, the YWCA's mission is to eliminate racism and empower women. And so basically we have programming that are aligned and centered around that core mission statement.
Mm-hmm. And I was looking at the range of services the YWCA offers. It's an incredible range of services that the YW offers.
Yes, and that's very intentional. We talked about this a little earlier today, that as a nonprofit, we do programs based upon our ability to have the resources to do them. And so many times when we receive funding from organizations or from federal funding sources, they have very specific goals. But those goals tend to be very narrow, and the people that we tend to serve tend to have a myriad of issues. And so we've been very intentional about ensuring that we have a comprehensive strategy to sort of meet not just a specific need, for example, housing with our homeless shelter, but to provide job training, to provide, educational advancement opportunities, and the list really goes on because really these folks are coming from generational poverty.
You offer financial literacy courses?
Yes, we're so excited about one program that we launched last year called WE, which is an acronym for Women's Economic Empowerment. And we started a We Girls Rock Camp because what the data shows us is that most girls and most women tend to not succeed in life because of a lack of really understanding about money. And so we have come to understand that domestic violence abuse and women staying in those types of situations, many times it's because of the lack of financial resources to break free. So if we can educate girls and women about money early on, then we just feel that we're preparing them for success in life.
And you help women who are the victims of domestic violence too?
Oh, yes, we do. We work very collaboratively with another local nonprofit who specializes in that in particular, but absolutely, we get folks that show up at 3 o'clock in the morning that are really on the run from domestic situations. And what's unique about the YWCA is that we serve families. So in order for you to receive our services, you have to have a child under the age of 18. And many times we have women as well as men who show up and need these services, and they don't really have anywhere else to go.
And I was surprised as I looked over the list of services that you offer, and that you offer child care. Now, talk about for a moment how important is it to provide child care to working people these days? How expensive is child care, and how easy is it to find?
Child care is very, very expensive. basically what many people don't realize is that the average income for a working family is around $25,000, but the average cost for child care is $8,000. And so that is almost about 50% of a working poor family's income. So the YWCA, we're able to provide that because we have very gracious organizations in our community that provide scholarship opportunities. We do a sliding scale so that we can make child care affordable. But what we know for certain is that if a woman who has children seeks to work outside of the home, she must have child care, and it's very important that she has quality child care. So it's one of the things that we do. We do it extremely well. 92% of the children who take standardized tests that come out of our program score in the range of 92, and 98% pass the academic assessments that we do on our children. So it's not just important to have child care or child development, but it's important that it's high quality as well.
Not only do you empower women and families, but also you're active in trying to reduce racism in our society. How does the Y help to reduce racism in our society?
Well, one of the things I love to talk about with the YWCA is how, what's made it really unique, and the reason we're here 96 years after our birth is that it's always evolved to meet the needs of the community. And so certainly it's a no-brainer that racism is a hot topic right now, and we're so proud that we have a defined platform to address that. One of the ways that we do that is we have an annual stand against racism each year. And this past month, we had the amazing Tim Wise to come back. And if you don't know Tim Wise, just Google him, but he is one of the leading anti-racist practitioners in the country. And he came and spoke to about 300 people from a very diverse background about racism, about racial profiling, and the things that we can do as a community to begin to deconstruct what is really sort of structured systemic racism. Many times folks get racism confused with individual acts, but what we intend to do with our platform is to address institutional racism, because that really has a greater impact on us as a society than individual racism.
Mm-hmm. And Tim, we should say, is a white guy.
Tim is a white guy. He, when I introduced him, I said, he is the ultimate hashtag white guy who gets it, and he has no shame in embracing that. But that's really what makes him so powerful. I think that historically, when African Americans in particular have decided to speak out on issues of race, it's not really received as well as when someone who doesn't look like us uses their white privilege in many ways to advance common good for our community. So we love Tim Wise. We're hoping to bring him back to our community to do a wider swath of work where we're working with law enforcement, with education, with corporations, mostly to do cultural competency training and to make sure that we have amenable policies in place to begin to undo what has taken centuries really to establish in our modern world.
Well, Nece, it's phenomenal what the YWCA covers in that whole range of things, and I think we barely scratched the surface, but thank you for coming by WEDU.
Thank you, and I'll just say that you are also hashtag a white guy that gets it, and we love you. Thank you very much.
Nece, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Well, we're going to go back to our leaderboard and see how we're doing. You're watching Give Day Tampa Bay here on WEDU. Well, welcome back to Give Day Tampa Bay. Remember, there are a number of Give Day incentives and prizes to encourage you to donate. Our HCI Happy Hour prize of $5,000 will be awarded to the nonprofit organization that receives the most donations between now and 7 o'clock. The gift is donated through the generosity of Homeowners Choice Insurance. And please go to givedaytampabay.org and choose the charity of your choice. Well, let's go to some more of the charities that are raising money today on Give Day Tampa Bay. And let's start with Laura Crane, who I just met from Rugged Cross. Laura, welcome to WEDU. Describe for us the mission of Rugged Cross.
We are a youth ranch and rescue out in Lithia, and we rescue horses and we rehabilitate them, and then we work with them to work with the orphans and foster kids in our communities in all 6 surrounding counties. And we just use them to teach the kids how to care for animals and respect them as well as their peers and adults, and just to get to develop good relationships, healthy relationships with each other and with animals, and just become good members of society.
Does working with horses help people develop, help young kids have empathy and things like that?
It does. It absolutely does. Even, you know, we have kids out there from preschool up to high school, and just the transformation that we see in them in just a couple hours is amazing. I've only been out there a couple months actually, and every time my jaw just drops. And kids that when they showed up, they're grumbling, and I can't believe they're making us come out here, and I don't even like nature, and horses are stupid, and all of those things. We're hearing them say these things as they're getting out of vans and whatnot, but by the time they're leaving, in just a couple hours, can we come back tomorrow? And if we beg, can we come back next week? And so it's pretty amazing.
Could you tell us the story of one person, without giving their names, but just kind of the transformation that you've seen?
Yes, there was one particular girl. She was an African-American girl. She's been in the foster system for years now. She was a middle school, and as she was getting out of the car, she was cursing, and not quietly. I mean, she was making it known that she was not happy about being there. And she wanted to be at home, she wanted to be on her electronics or whatever the case may be, and that she was just going to sit there and she was bound and determined she was not going to have any fun. And before she left there, we were having to basically drag her to the van and promise her, yeah, you can come back again, we'll get you out here again. But she was running around and, no, I'm going to go do this first, and I'm going to go see this horse. And I have to tell, we have 14 horses, a donkey, lambs, goats, dogs, cats. So she was having to say goodbye to all of them. She couldn't leave without saying goodbye to all of them. So,
Lord, talk about the need, because we hear a lot about it, but kids who are orphans or kids who are in the foster care system, how big is the need out there for those kids to find happiness and comfort in our society?
It's huge. It's huge. And out there, you know, we don't bring them out there to teach them anything as far as sitting them down and this is what you need to do and this is how you should behave. And we live by example, and we just introduce them to the horses and just let them discover it themselves. And we don't charge any of the foster facilities or the families or anything to come out there. We did a spring break camp this summer. We're going to be hosting over 400 of them in different summer camps. We have one group that's coming out for 2 weeks solid, and so we're feeding them and we're entertaining them, and they're going to be out there from 9 to 4 for 2 weeks. And so we just, you know, everything is we just raise the money for everything. Everything is donations. All of us out there are volunteers, so it's huge to be able to do this, but of course we can't do it without the help from donations.
All right. Well, we hope people pick the Rugged Cross as one of their charities of choice today on Give Day Tampa Bay.
Thank you.
All right. Laura, thank you very much for coming by. Rugged Cross is the charity. And let's next go to Matthew Hoffman, who is with Character GPS. Matthew, welcome to WEDU.
Good evening. Thanks for having us.
Great to have you here. Tell us about Character GPS.
Absolutely. Character GPS is an organization that's dedicated to teaching kids the skills of good character so they can be more successful academically and also in their personal lives.
And how was it founded?
It was founded by Jeff Kane and I are the co-founders of the program, and we've been in Tampa. We're coming into our 5th year, and we work with older elementary, middle school, and high school kids in public and private schools all throughout the Tampa Bay area.
And how did you recognize the need? What made you come to this kind of charity?
Well, I'm a father, and I have 3 kids, and just seeing the pressures that society put on kids to conform or to do things. And I think that, seeing in my own kids, a lot of kids struggle with what they should do and how to be successful. And they don't really have many classes, maybe sometimes at home or even in schools, that teach those skills of good character, which we really feel is the foundation for all of life success. If you've got that, then you can be successful in just about everything else.
And so what do you base the character model on? And I should have asked Laura this too. Is this faith-based, or what precepts do you use?
You know, it's a universal truth. If you looked at what our founding fathers founded our country on, kind of the laws of the land, respect and telling the truth. We do a lot of work with anti-bullying, making sure there's respect of self, of others, of authority, helping kids say no to addictions that might be bringing them down the wrong path, and teaching them giving them a greater yes so they can know what they can do to be successful, to reach the goals and action plan and be more successful.
So how do you find the children, or how do the parents and children find you, Character GPS?
Absolutely. Well, right now we're a Title I approved program, so we work with a lot of at-risk youth. Actually, I met my friend Laura next to me working with Stewart Middle School here in Tampa. And so we do a lot of programs that are in-service programs where we'll come and work during the school day. We've also partnered with organizations like the YWCA or Boys and Girls Club to do after-school programs.
Is there what's your sense of the demand for this kind of program? Are you inundated with people saying, I want to send my child to this, or what's happening out there?
Well, like many things, the demand is huge, and we've worked with organizations and small pieces of them because funding, certainly for the public schools, is also an issue. And we go through an 8-week program, hour-and-a-half sessions, multimedia, interactive, get the kids out of their seats. It's not class. We call the time we have together adventures, because the kids are having fun and watching videos and songs and really getting to enjoy and immerse themselves in the experiential learning.
And where does this take place? Where do you do this?
We do this at schools. We've worked at Sickles High School. We worked at Stewart Elementary, Berkeley, private schools, public schools, after-school programs. We did our first charter program with Metropolitan Ministries Charter School in downtown Tampa and worked with a group of 4th and 5th graders there.
Is this nationwide, or is it just you and your friend? Did you start it down here?
Not nationwide yet, but we're certainly working in the Hillsborough and Pinellas County area, and we'd like to grow the model, and we have a train-the-trainer model so we can teach others how to use the program in their own organizations.
And I asked Laura an example of success. Matthew, can you give us one example of success that you've seen without naming names here?
Absolutely. There's a young girl in that charter program I spoke about in Metropolitan Ministries, and one of our adventures, the number 3, is called TD, or Talents Discovered. And in that class, the child took a mini Myers-Briggs survey where they learned about their unique traits and qualities, and they get to see that they have skills and things they can apply for their success. And that girl came up to Jeff after we taught that class, gave him a big hug and said, "Thank you. Now I know who I am." Wow. And so that, we were trying not to cry in that time, but a lot of stories about kids discovering that they have ability and talent they can apply and reach their goals.
Well, Matthew, thanks for coming by WEDU.
Our pleasure. Thanks
Great
for having us.
Great to meet you. Let's talk with Chris Janik right now, who is with Enable America. And Chris, welcome to WEDU. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, Rob.
Okay, so let's start with the mission of Enable America, which I understand was founded right here in Tampa.
It was indeed. In fact, our founder, Richard Salem, likes to say good things happen when people have jobs, and that's the foundation of Enable America. We're working with a population that needs some extra assistance in the job field, and that would be individuals with disability. Increasingly, that means working with our disabled veteran and our wounded warrior population. A lot of very brave men and women who have sacrificed so much for us need help reacclimating into that job market.
And is it hard to convince employers to employ somebody with a disability?
I don't think that's as great a challenge. I think a lot of times there might be an awkwardness sometimes. If people aren't used to having an individual with a disability, they don't realize that the skills and the talents they bring to the workplace. I mean, I've worked with Richard now for 6 years, and you don't recognize that he has an individual with a disability. If anything, you see him for all the tremendous skills he has. Well, this is really what the entire disability population, people who are ready to work, really bring to the job place. So many times what our job is educational. Employers are willing and open, but they don't really know how to proceed. We make it easy by building those bridges.
I want you to talk for just a moment about Richard Salem, the founder of Enable America, but because he is one of the top lawyers in the city, if not the state, but he does have a disability. Could you talk about Richard for just a moment?
Well, Richard lost his sight as a teenager, and if he were here, he would tell you about that experience. As you can imagine, is traumatic. But moreover, he'll talk more about the sort of the revelation that he had one time when he realized, and his friends came and took him out after this incident, and he's, I guess, riding along in the beach, and he stopped for a moment and started to feel the wind in his hair and started to think about what it was like to live, and didn't really think that he had a disability. He realized a disability does not have to hold you back or keep you down. And that was really the foundation of everything that he accomplished since then. The first person to, a blind person to go to Duke University Law School, graduate, have a very successful law career. He's basically trying to provide that hand up that was provided to him when he needed it to others who are in his situation.
So Enable America is based in Tampa. How wide of an influence do you have? How many cities or states are you active in?
We're very active in Tampa. We're very active in the North Carolina area because that is where Richard is from. We've recently done more programs in the Washington, D.C. area as we expand to military bases. Our Vet Connect program, which, by the way, every dollar that we raise in the Give Day program over the next few hours, over this entire day, is going to go to that Vet Connect program to help veterans. Was founded at MacDill. We've since expanded to Fort Bragg, Camp Lejeune, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. We're looking to expand even further into Texas and into the New York State area as well.
And Chris, just finally, in the last 10 seconds or so, how big is the need here in the Tampa Bay area?
I think that the need is tremendous. I mean, we need a need for education and advocacy. We find employers are willing to open their doors, but they just need to have somebody to help them do that, and that's what Enable America is here to do.
All right. Well, Chris Jadek, thank you. Thank you very much for coming by WEDU.
Thank you.
Well, you're watching live coverage of Give Day Tampa Bay on WEDU, and we're going to go to our leaderboard right now. Well, welcome back to live coverage of Give Day Tampa Bay on WEDU TV. Our next guest is a really important one. Marlene Spalton is President and CEO of the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay. And Marlene, thank you so much for coming by.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Now, I think it's fair to say that your group, the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay and the Florida Next Foundation, were the two leaders, the spearheaders of this idea. It started last year. Talk about how the idea came about for Give Day Tampa Bay.
Well, on two fronts simultaneously. It was the 100th anniversary of the first community foundation, which was formed in Cleveland. And so as community foundations across the nation, we decided a day of giving locally because that's what community foundations emphasize. We're place-based philanthropy. So we had started to plan a day of giving here in the Tampa Bay area. Simultaneous to that, Florida Next had held a gathering of young people to pitch ideas, And there was an idea that, we need to be more generous in the Tampa Bay area. They'd seen statistics that show that Tampa is not particularly generous compared to other cities. And so we were talking together, and they said, so we're going to host a day of giving. I said, let's do that together. We both have the same aim, and so that's why we started it last year together, and are partners again this year.
Last year was very successful. I remember reading newspaper articles last year, and people, I think, were amazed because Give Day Tampa Bay last year broke the $1 million mark. This year, how are we doing so far with about 5 hours left?
We're doing great. We've gone well past where we were last year and headed more. I'd love to see this pace keep up until midnight itself. I think part of a community being philanthropic is believing that it can. And what we proved last year is there are a lot of generous hearts in Tampa and in the Tampa Bay area, and now we need to just give them the opportunity to do that. So,
when somebody gives to a nonprofit, in a sense, do they become part owners of that nonprofit? Do they become more invested, more connected in that nonprofit?
Exactly. And increasingly, donors do feel more like investors, that they're not giving up anything. They're just investing in a project or a program that they know makes sense for our community.
Marlene, so many people who are watching this program and who live here in the Tampa Bay area are from other cities. So they're from, as you said, Cleveland or Boston or Chicago or Nashville or Detroit or Atlanta or Charlotte or Savannah, and they come down here, and this is a way to get people involved in our community, right?
Absolutely, and they should be, because they have roots in those other areas, so they have history there. When they come here, and my husband and I are from other states as well, when they come here, they're going to miss having those roots. Being philanthropic in a community, being invested in a nonprofit or several nonprofits, can help you feel a part of the community that you're living in at the time you're living in, and can really enrich your life.
And none of the money goes to overhead or anything like that. All the money collected today goes directly to these nonprofits.
Yes, goes right through us to the nonprofits, yes.
Well, that's pretty incredible. Could you describe what the mission of a community foundation is?
Community Foundation's mission is to build a better community, and we do that by supporting those organizations that do good work in our community, from social services to the arts to health and education. We do that, too, by providing services to donors to make it easy for them to give. At the Community Foundation, you can create a donor-advised fund, which is like a philanthropy checking account. You can create your own family foundation. You can also create an endowment for the community at large, or for a particular nonprofit, or maybe for a field of interest that you have, like education or healthcare. So we work with donors. That's really our primary purpose, to help them achieve their philanthropic goals. And in doing that, we also need to know the community, the nonprofits, their needs, their opportunities that they can offer to donors, and we match. So we're matchmakers.
And they can find out more at the Community Foundation website?
Yes, absolutely, and I hope they will look.
All right. Well, Marlene, thank you very much, and thanks for everything you did to make today possible.
Well, we are thrilled with WEDU and the wonderful coverage we've gotten all day long from this organization.
All right. Well, thank you for watching Give Day Tampa Bay here on WEDU TV. WEDU is proud to be a co-sponsor of this event, and hopefully by midnight tonight we will have set records. Thank you for watching, and please, if you haven't yet donated, please go to givedaytampabay.org.